Good evening. Tonight I have Drill Master 6-inch cutoff saw, item 61204. I needed to cut some conduit, so I thought I would try this. Even though I bought this small one, I'm probably still going to pick up one of the 14-inch ones. But let's see what we got. Little saw. Not sure what I expected from a 6-inch saw, but little saw. Some zip ties holding it together. It's got this arbor, which you take off. It's got a spanner wrench to put this on. I picked up some 6-inch wheels. I had some 6-inch cutoff wheels, but I wanted to get the Harbor Freight brand as part of the review. Kind of a 2-for-1. So they had a 3-pack for about $5 or $6. I looked for a 5-pack or a 10-pack and I couldn't find one. What's odd is in the 4 and the 7 you can get a 10-pack. This one you can't. No big deal. So 10,200 max RPM. That works out well because this is max speed 5,000. So we'll just slip this on. And there is a little insert that goes on. There we go. That shield gets in the way a little bit. But then again, I think it's supposed to. It has an alternative flange. So this must be the 7/8, and that's what's in there must be the 5/8. You have to size your cutoff wheels based on that. 5/8 arbor. So it's got this adjustment to put stuff in. And that can go at an angle. And this can go at an angle. Now, there is two adjustment screws here to adjust this, but those have an Allen key, and they did not give you an Allen key. I happen to have my Allen key. It's 5mm. That's a very common size for the tools. If you have a 3 and a 5, you've covered 90% of what you need on these types of tools. So I have the long reach. Not sure that the long reach buys me anything here. So I can loosen this nut and this one. I have to loosen this one very much, just enough to break the tension. Now I can swing this up to 45 degrees. So that could be useful if you're making 45-degree cuts. I, of course, want 90 degrees. So these two little screws, these are nice. They use an Allen key, a thumb wheel. Some type of a knob would be better, but I'm not sure that that's possible because of the arrangement here. It would actually make it less useful in terms of clearances. So there we go. That cord needs to go on this side, but my outlet's on that side, so that's not going to be convenient either. That's my problem, not the saw's problem. The way it's designed, it comes off here. You can go either way, but if I go this way, I start running the risk of getting involved in that blade. So we'll do this side. Now, let's give it a shot. Sounds like hell. Okay, so I've got the Drill Master cutoff saw. Of course, I brought this for a project that I'm working on. The project is a CNC machine, and it uses conduit as its main building material. So I actually bought two things to cut this with. I wanted to try the cutoff saw, And I also wanted to try the portable Bauer bandsaw. So I'll do half the cuts on this, and I'll do half the cuts on the bandsaw. But I have my cut list, very important. I'm building the smallest one, so I need all of these lengths. So I went and bought 10-foot pieces. It's going to be a little awkward handling 10-foot pieces in my shop, but that's okay. I am absolutely astounded at the number of tape measures I have that are inches only. So I finally found one. I have one that has metric. I had two. I broke it last week. Okay, so I might as well get started. I got a pin and it's red. I'm hoping I can mark with that. In case you're wondering, 400 millimeters is about 15 3/4 inches. Sharpie would probably be better. I actually want to cut these as I go. If I mark a couple of these end to end and then cut them, they'll be off by the kerf. And I don't want to really account for the kerf, so I'm just going to cut them as I go. Now this is going to be a little bit awkward because it's a 10-foot piece. So for the setup, since I'm cutting 90 degrees, I'm just going to do this. It actually has a lift. And when you put this down, the threads kick in. Now, since I've never used this before, I need to pay attention to where this comes down in relation to this. So I'll tighten it up. Pretty sturdy. Let's give it a shot. I use this cardboard to protect my table saw. I use it as a display table. Might get into trouble with all the sparks. It's going to be a small CNC machine, isn't it? Wow. Okay, line up where I want to cut. Tighten it down. Cut. Okay, it leaves a pretty nice cut, and it would probably be a little better if I took a little bit more time. But I'll take a grinding wheel and deburr that. The first cut wasn't as good because I wasn't used to using the saw, but the second one looks pretty good. I probably do need to deburr that a little. Okay, there's my cut. That's an even better cut. So speed has a lot to do with how it's going to look at the end. The only thing I have to deburr is the very end. One more. Now slower gives you a much better cut, just that burr at the final cut. So that's just coming out well. Pretty consistent cutting. Just have a little burr on the end where it starts and where it ends. The cardboard's handling the cutting okay, but there's plenty of metal sawdust. I can handle these 10-foot pieces in my shop, but it's a little awkward at times. It's kind of strange. Just flip it up, and then you push in, it flips back, in which case it's very difficult to get it to go forward. But if you just pull this, it flips it. So that's oddity to me. And the great thing about this clamp is no matter how offset I get this, when I clamp it down, it's 90 degrees. Now, a lot of people will take this piece that I just cut, which was 427, and use it to mark the next one. But if I have any error in this one, it will be put onto this one and then magnified. So I'll remeasure every time. When I go to put this together, if there's any problems, it won't magnify across the pieces as I cut them. A pencil would do good for marking this, but it doesn't stand out. Next. I was trying to see if I go slow enough. Well, I get no burr, but I get a little bit of burr regardless. The cord continues to be a problem, but it could be my shop. If I had an outlet back there, the cord could go back there and it wouldn't cause any problems. Of course, it's not real convenient for me to go back there and get the cord. Another 446. Okay, so this is so completed the cut list. These are all of the 1/2-inch conduit pieces I need for the CNC machine that I'm making. It will have a 200 by 300 bed, 200 millimeters by 300 millimeters. That should be 8 by 12 roughly. It's actually a little undersized 8 by 12, but we'll say 8 by 12. So got my cut list, tried out my new saw. I really like this. Things I don't like about it, not a whole lot. The quick disconnect nut works pretty good. Allows for fast adjustments. Since I was cutting the same size pipe over and over again, that really didn't come into play for me. This seemed to work okay. It's a little awkward, kind of gets in the way a little, but it's a safety device. There's not much you can do about that. Seems to swing pretty fair. I would like it if it had a motor lock pin that I could lock the motor and turn against that. It's a little awkward holding the blade, tightening it up. It's got plastic for the motor casing. That might be a problem in time, although tonight it doesn't seem to bother it at all. The motor casing being plastic concerns me a little in terms of longevity of the device, but I think they paid $35 for this. So for $35, I think I got a pretty good deal. So they give you this 7/8 insert, so let's figure out how to use that. So you got the 5/8 arbor on there, so you take that off. You take the 7/8, and you can see it's slotted just like this one. You slide this one around that back motor shaft, and you put your 7/8 blade on, and then you turn it on with this. And using this, I found that this space goes in. I originally thought that this side should go in, but it doesn't apply enough clamping force on the blade. So you want to do this side against the blade. So take the 7/8 arbor off, put the 5/8 arbor on, get your blade that you want to use, put that on, put the inset in. So this is a pain, but most safety devices are. Much better to put up with the pain of dealing with them here than put up with the pain of dealing with an injury later. So as you can see, I put this on its side. It's easier to get the blade over that flange and keep it there while you put this on. You don't want to over tighten this because you'll just have a bear of a time getting it off. But that's pretty simple. So it has a replaceable arbor. It's actually a very convenient way to make it fit both sides. The problem with that is I need some place to store this. Of course, I need some place to store these too. probably do my favorite trick with the magnets. Really, they're gluing them better than they used to. Take that plastic off or not. I think I'm gonna leave this one on. And I'll put it here, and it's gonna hold great. And I'll put one tool here, one tool there. Now, before you go apeshit crazy saying, oh, that's so unsafe, it'll move over here. That's to store it while the tool itself is in storage. When I'm using it, I'll take all of this out. Oops. So there you go. Okay, the problem with giving you replaceable brushes for the motor, I'm a hobbyist. Using this, it will take me the rest of my life to wear out the brushes. By then, I won't even know where they are. So I'm going to have to find some way to manage those because I have 30 tools that all have brushes. Okay, so demonstrate how to use it. $35. I think that's a great deal. Sitting there with the hacksaw, it would have taken me a while. It doesn't do perfect cuts. There is some cleanup on that. Because of the cleanup, it doesn't look 90 degrees, but it is 90 degrees. It's just the bottom, when it does the final cut through, spins out so much hot metal there that it makes it look bad. But I'll take a grinder and clean these up, and I'm well on my way to making a CNC machine. So if you like the videos, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.